Welcome, and thanks for joining us for Compassion Camp, at Emmanuel Christian Reformed Church. Our song of the day is called Brave Enough. Please join in and sing it with us.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Session 2, To the Neighbor. Today we'll learn how compassion helps us be brave. Being compassionate is not always easy. Sometimes we have to take risks to ease someone's hurt or suffering. We can be brave to jump in, share, protect, and speak up for others. See if you can finish these sentences. Maya has extra food in her pantry. She can be brave and Rebecca is a lifeguard. When someone is struggling in the water, Rebecca can be brave and Michael sees a friend picking on a younger child. Michael can be brave and God gives us compassion so we will feel brave enough to make choices that ease the hurt of others. Sometimes our compassion helps us make brave choices, and when we do, look out. God's power is able to restore our communities, our friendships, and ourselves. Please join me for an opening prayer. Dear Jesus, your compassion always looked like courage. Strengthen our hearts with your bravery as we risk, reach out, and lift up our siblings near and far. Help us keep our eyes on you. Amen.
day, Jesus visited someone's home. Everyone heard he was there. They were so excited to see him because they heard he healed and helped people to be a part of their communities again. A friend who was paralyzed had his friends take him to see Jesus. When the group got there, it was so crowded. There was no way to get Jesus through all the people. They had an idea, though. They climbed up onto the roof of the house and made a hole in the roof above where Jesus was. Then they lowered their friend into the room. When Jesus saw their faith, he was encouraged. He told their friend, "I see you and love you. You are made whole for your community. Your sins are forgiven." Some temple leaders, called scribes, were watching Jesus. When they heard him say this to the friend who was paralyzed, they were angry. They thought to themselves, "Who does Jesus think he is? Only God can say these things." Jesus could tell the scribes disagreed with him, so he said to them, "I know what you're thinking right now, but what's easier, to say I see you and love you, or get up and walk? I'll show you that's possible to do both." With compassion, Jesus turned to the friend who was paralyzed and said, "Get up, pick up your mat, and go home. You're healed now." He stood up amazed. He picked up his mat and went home with his friends. Everyone was so happy, and they praised God because they had never seen anything like this before. To conclude day 2, we're going to end with a repeat after me prayer. I'm going to pause after each line so that you can repeat afterwards. Let's begin. Dear Jesus, your compassion always looked like courage. Strengthen our hearts with your bravery. As we risk, reach out, and lift up. Our siblings near and far, help us keep our eyes on you. Amen.
Because his love compels
That was fun! Now let's have a look at a really cool project that we can make.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's Craft Center. We're glad that you're joining us. This is Megan and she's going to help me explain and demonstrate today's craft. So today the focus is on showing love and kindness to our neighbors. And so we thought it would be fun for our craft to make a card that we can give to someone to bless them or encourage them. So this is a sample of a card that we're going to make. And I'd love for you to think of a neighbor or someone in your church or somebody who's been working hard that might need some encouragement. And I'd love for you to write them a little note in this card when it's finished and pass that on to them as a way to bless them and encourage them. So Megan's going to help me show you what you're all going to need for today's craft. So after we've shown you the supplies, feel free to pause the video and gather what you need and then come on back and we will explain the craft to you. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. And so we cut a piece of cardstock in half and then folded it into a card. The great thing about that is then you can make 2 cards. The next thing you'll need is a permanent marker. You'll also need a piece of plastic. Any plastic will do. We just cut a white grocery bag to the size of the cardstock. White is kind of nice because it allows you to see the colors that you're putting on to the plastic. You'll understand that more later, but any plastic will do. The next thing you'll need is Crayola markers or water-based markers. And then the last thing you'll need is a spray bottle. Okay, so go ahead and gather those supplies and then come back and join us and we will explain that craft to you. Okay, Megan, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first thing Megan's going to do is she's going to take her permanent marker and she's going to draw just an encouraging design on the front. To keep it simple for showing you this craft, we've decided to draw some hearts on the front, but you can do whatever you want. And for the sake of explaining, Megan has just drawn these hearts and she's got one that she's already colored the hearts in with. So we will use that one to continue on, but feel free to pause the video if you need more time to draw your design on the front of the card with the permanent marker. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of plastic and you're going to use your Crayola or water-based markers to color on that plastic. Fill it with color. The best way to do that is to color in small, not too small, maybe medium-sized sections of color. And it will turn out the very best if you use nice, bright colors. Try to avoid using colors like black or brown because they just won't turn out to be bright and cheerful, and we'd love to be encouraging to those that we are giving these cards to. So that's what Megan's doing right now. I love the color she's choosing so far. In just a second here, I'm going to get her to hold up what she's doing so that you can see just the chunks of color that she's putting on this piece of plastic. So I will just hold that up for you to see. Hopefully you can see that she's just doing sections of color there and she's going to work her way around the plastic. What we're going to do is we're going to pause the video for a second while Megan finishes coloring that in. So you feel free to do the same. And then we'll meet back together when Megan's done and when you're done filling in that piece of plastic with color. Okay? Okay, we're back. Megan's finished coloring her piece of plastic. So I'm just going to show that to you. She's done a really great job of filling in that whole piece with nice, bright, and colorful colors. And now comes the super fun part. This is the best part of the whole craft. So I'm going to ask you to put your piece of plastic above your card. Put your card closest to your body. And then you're going to take your spray bottle and spray the front of the card with a couple of squirts of water. You want the whole thing to be wet, but not like a puddle on top. So if you're not sure if it's all covered up, just use your fingers to spread out the water on the front of the card. And then you're going to take your piece of plastic and put it right on top of your card. So just watch what Megan's doing here. So she's just going to place it right on top of that wet card there. And now she's going to rub her hands on top of it all. And we like to call this smooshing. So she's going to smoosh the plastic right onto the card there. And you'll see the colors through the plastic blending together on the front of your card. So just press that all out and watch it blend. And when you're pretty sure you've got everything covered really well with the marker from the plastic, then you're just going to peel that plastic off and see what you've come up with. So on this one, Megan may have had just a little bit too much water, but that's okay. We're just going to let it run off onto our paper that we use to protect our surface. And it'll be best to leave your card to dry in place because it will help to keep the colors all where you've put them. But I'm going to hold this up so that you can see just how cool that turned out. It looks a little bit tie-dye-ish, and it's going to just dry out to look really neat. So the only thing you'll have left to do now is to let your card dry and then write in the inside of that card and give that to somebody to bless them today and make them smile and feel encouraged.
Hi, my name is Hannah. Today at VBS we're learning about being kind and loving to our neighbors. So for craft, we're going to be making kindness rocks. So if you're a little younger and you want to make one, you could do a little more of a simple design, and then you can ask an adult to help write a kind message on. So I also have this one. This one says God loves you, and this one says smile. Or if you're a little older and you want to challenge yourself a bit, you could do one like this. It kind of looks like a flower. There's also this one. Or you could do one more like a ladybug or something like that. So the supplies that you need is a rock. It doesn't have to be very big, but not too small either. You need something to cover your table so you don't get paint on your table, because you'll be painting. You'll need paintbrushes. You can have lots of different sizes if you want. You can have a permanent marker if you're going to write something on there. And you need some paint. I like it when you use bright paint because it's nice and cheerful, and maybe it'll make your neighbors smile more. So to make them, you're gonna take your rock and you're gonna paint a background color. This one's blue. And then once it's dry, it doesn't take very long to dry. You can put a design like stripes or polka dots. And then when that's dry, you can write something on there with your permanent marker. And then for these, you really just have to put like lines and dots and things like that. So that is what you can do for craft today.
And what should we do with them when they're finished?
Okay, so when they're finished, you can go outside around your neighborhood and you can maybe put them sneakily on your neighbor's porch, or you can put them on the side of the sidewalk. Maybe if you're close by a park, you can hide them there so that people can see them. It's like a nice little surprise when they're going for a walk.
Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered.
I'd like to make some cards and kindness rocks for some people in my neighborhood. But first let's get moving again. It's time for some more yoga.
You're going to start sitting on the floor, cross-legged. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths in, slowly. And as we inhale, we're going to say, I am. And as we exhale, we're going to say, brave. So inhale with me. I am. Brave. Inhale. I am. Exhale. Brave. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Brave. From this pose, we're slowly going to rise into mountain pose. With your arms straight and strong by your sides, I'm going to lift our arms up and fold forward. We prepare and focus our eyes forward. Now we're going to step back into plank pose and lower to the ground. Now we're going to straighten our arms up towards the sky into upward facing dog. And we're going to breathe here. We face the sun and welcome with courage what this day holds for us. Now, we're going to move from forward facing dog and lower our body back to the ground, pushing our hips up and our legs up to downward facing dog. And when we are here, we're going to raise our right leg up to the sky. And we're going to send it through between our hands. When you're here, rise your body up and your arms up to Warrior One. And in Warrior One, we feel focus, power, and stability. We are strong and brave. We continue to breathe in and out. And we're going to put our hands back down to the floor and move our leg back into downward dog. Now we're going to try this with our left leg up to the sky. And pull the leg through towards the hands. Raising once again into Warrior One. And breathing in and out. In Warrior One, we feel focus, power, and stability. We are strong and brave. We're going to lower our hands back down to the floor and move one more time into downward facing dog. Breathing in and out. Then we're going to step our feet up to our hands and slowly roll back up into mountain pose. And we say Namaste, which means the light in me sees the light in you.
Thank you for joining us for Session 2, To the Neighbor, when we see people are sad, happy, lonely, scared, or hurt, we can feel it with them. That's our empathy. That's the first step. To act on our empathy, we follow Jesus' example of compassion. Sometimes it is helping someone do something hard. Sometimes it's being honest about who we are and what we need. Sometimes it is showing love and acceptance to the person in front of us. These things can be hard, but it's okay. We can trust God to give us the courage to be brave with our compassion. See you next time.
I can't wait for the next episode. And I hope you all come back. Until then, be loved, be kind, and most of all, be you.